Hello, Hawkeye fans, and welcome to the Hawk Fanatic Prospect Podcast. I'm your host, Rob Howe. We're recording a little bit before noon Central Time on Monday, July the 10th. Happy to be joined today by 2024 Iowa quarterback, verbal commitment, James Resar. I got your name right.
Yes.
Ah, wonderful. I was hoping to stick the landing on that. I'm sure it's one that gets butchered quite a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, but you got it. I'm surprised.
I will admit to cheating. I kind of saw your phonetic explanation or description on Twitter. So I'm like, all right, that's got to be Rezar. All right, we're good. We're off to a good start. We got the name right. How are you, man? I know you took your official visit here, and we'll get to that in a minute. But after that, it sounded like you got a chance to kind of exhale a little bit on a vacation to Wisconsin. And I know how busy you are year round. That must have been nice.
Yeah, because like our football team, we do summer workouts all year, and then for 4th of July we get off, so it was nice.
What did you get to do? What did you kind of do to kind of unwind in nature?
So my family lives in a pretty like rural area around farms, so we just kind of like relax around grandparents. There's not much to do, so a lot of
Much
sleep.
How much
And
family do you have up in this part of the country?
everybody, because I was born there,
Okay.
and then I moved to Florida, so all my family's there.
And James, for those that don't know, is in Jacksonville, Florida. How have you been in Jacksonville most of your life then?
Um, I think I moved here when I was 5. Yeah.
So that's probably what you know best, right? Are you
Yeah.
back this way pretty frequently though?
Every summer, and it just kind of fit well with the official visit.
Did that, and we'll get into the recruitment a little bit more, did that make it easier to kind of be open to Iowa being so far away that you knew what it was like up here?
Um, Not really, but I mean, it did make me feel more comfortable with the area. Like, I feel like it's not going to be as bad of a transition. Like, it'll be easy for me once I finally get there.
Yeah, because it is halfway across the country, right? So a little
Yeah.
bit different in the winter too, I think, up here than it is in Jacksonville.
Yeah, a lot different.
So you're gonna have to buy like winter clothes and stuff, right? You got some time, but you're gonna have to change your wardrobe a little bit.
Yeah, I've got some from my dad that he's been saving for me, so I'll use that.
Cool. Your dad must be pretty good size then if you can wear his clothes.
Yeah, I mean, I think he wore it because he played D3, so I mean, he still has it from then.
Where do you play?
Concordia in Milwaukee,
Okay,
Wisconsin.
cool. Cool. Was he a quarterback as well?
No, he played linebacker.
That's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah. I mean, I think he wishes I'd played defense, but he likes it.
He must be able to give you some hints though about what defensive players think and kind of their mindset. Does that help at all?
Yeah, I mean, he's like not really anymore, but when I played middle school, he'd kind of tell me what tricked him when he played linebacker and what kind of confused him. So that helped.
Kind of want to let folks know and get to know you a little bit, James, and just kind of we'll talk about some fun stuff at the end of the podcast, but just kind of your journey to this point. Obviously, a significant injury in high school. Let folks know kind of what, just kind of a synopsis or recap of what each year was like for you, freshman, sophomore, junior.
So freshman year, I was the backup. So I played 2 quarters in JV every single week, and then I'd kind of just ride the bench on varsity on Friday nights. And then I got to start the last game of the year because of an injury. It was a playoff game, and we lost like last second. But that's kind of when things started moving for me. Got my first offer after that, and then
Who'd
sophomore
that
year
come
we
from? I'm sorry. Who was your first offer?
Wake Forest,
Okay.
and then I became the starter the next year, and everything was going really well. And then I broke my leg early on in the year, so I feel like that actually helped me a lot because early on in the year I started to run a lot, and I didn't really learn how to throw. But it taught me how to stay in the pocket. And then obviously that helped my junior year because that was my best year by far.
Yeah, and you played right with the broken leg for a while, or for the rest of the season, or whatever.
Yeah, because the trainer told me it was a contusion, so I didn't know. And then when I found out, it was too late. So
It was at the end of the season by the time you figured out that you had a broken leg.
yeah,
Were you not in pain, man?
no, I was in pain, but I thought it was a bad bruise, and I kept playing on it.
um, and you talked about that. That probably helped your pocket presence. And did you kind of recognize that or realize that last year when things kind of all came together?
Yeah, because I think it just also showed my coach like that he could have confidence in me because before I hurt it, I probably ran the ball like 20 times a game and threw
Wow.
it like 12 times. And then obviously I couldn't run with it, so it really helped my development.
And for those that also haven't followed closely with what James is doing, he is he's pretty good on the track as well. When he talks about running, there's a reason why he's running. What are some of your times? Throw them out there for folks.
10.6.7 is my PR. And then I've ran a couple times in the 10.8s. Yeah.
How does that kind of I mean, it's one thing to be fast when you're running, but you also have to run smart. How do you kind of balance that with within your game on the football field?
That's actually something I'm still trying to figure out a little bit because obviously like I could run like very aggressively, but then that hurts too. And
Yeah.
and then I might have to throw the next play. So I'm trying to figure out like the best way to do that, but I feel like I'm getting better with it.
It's just kind of reps, right? And just getting recognition to, when to go and when to not.
Yeah, I feel like it's like certain situations sometimes, like fourth quarter, you got to give it all. And then maybe like in the first half, once you already got the first down, you can run out of bounds. Like it's just like situational feeling.
Before I forget to ask, what are your current measurements? How tall are you and what's your weight at right now?
6'4", and then I was 211 the other day.
Okay. You comfortable at that weight? Do you feel like you need to go down, go up? I mean, it seems a pretty usable weight for 6'4".
I'm obviously trying to get bigger and stronger, but I'm still running track right now, so I'm trying to get as big as possible while still getting faster. Once I start getting slower, then I know that's where I'm at.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a heck of a lot of sense. Let's talk a little bit about your recruitment. You mentioned that Wake was the first school to offer. Where did it go from there? And when did Iowa kind of come in? And when did you start I guess, start to feel good about the Hawkeyes?
So freshman year, and that's the only one I got that year. And then I got Georgia Tech during the season my sophomore year and Indiana in the spring. And then so I had 3 offers going into my summer before my junior season, and that's where I took a lot of visits. And my best one by far was Iowa, and that's where I got the offer. And then that was just I fell in love there, and then I committed the second game of the year.
Um, how much do you think the injury impacted your recruitment?
I think a lot, honestly. Because if you look at the film from my sophomore year, it actually wasn't all that impressive. Um, but I mean, who knows if I would have gotten like some of the top SEC school offers, maybe I wouldn't be going to Iowa. But I think it actually helped me because I know Iowa's a better fit for me than those other places.
It's like that proverbial things happen for a reason, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, I had heard this, and I don't know if this is true. I don't know if it came from you. I don't follow this stuff closely, but I had heard that some schools have come after you or started to recruit you, want to see how solid your Iowa commitment is. How do you handle that if that is the case?
Um. So I don't really handle it because my coach does a good job of taking care of all this stuff because he works at the school. So they'll come in during the day and he'll basically, I told him what my thoughts are in Iowa and my future commitment. And he basically just tells the schools how I'm feeling. And some will offer me and some will just kind of respectfully take it.
What do you tell them? What do you tell them that how you feel about Iowa? And I want to talk about the official visit, obviously, because I think that's an important component here. But what do you tell your coach to tell the other coaches that are interested in you?
I'm very committed to Iowa. It would have to take some major staff changes for me to reconsider, but I still feel like if there were major staff changes, they'd make the right choice, and I'd still probably be a Hawkeye.
It's got to be flattering, though, right? At least to know that other schools see the value in you and want to know whether or not they got a shot.
Yeah, and I like to continue to build a relationship because with the way like college football is going now, you never know where somebody's going to be in 2 years. So
Yeah, and you've got, especially at your position, man. I guess it's at every position, but the transfer portal is also a factor.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
So a lot of stuff to keep an eye on there. But let's get to the official visit, James, because I know the previous class, the 23 class, they talked a lot about how wonderful that experience was, how much it helped that class bond. I've only talked to Michael Burt so far from your class on these podcasts because Cody Fox told me he's not a podcast guy. So we're going to get to Cody in a different form at some point. But if you know Cody, you understand that.
Yeah.
What was it like for you? Just give us kind of an overview of what the official visit was like for you, for the group, and kind of I'll ask any follow ups based on what you tell us.
Yeah, so going in, I already know everything I need to know about like the football team and how everything is run. I just wanted to get a feel of like what the campus is like and like just what my life is going to be like when I go there. And then I knew the recruits coming in, like obviously tell them like how good the program is and how they'd fit in, but I never want to pressure anybody because if they're just choosing the school because of pressure, that's probably not the right fit, especially with the way the portal is nowadays. So I just tell them the good things, and I feel like we've gotten a lot of commitments just because everybody got along really well at the visit.
Um, what was just kind of the vibe like amongst you guys, just kind of conversationally, just kind of how everybody, meshed.
Yeah, the coaches did a really good job of like um when we ate, they did a good job of like pushing all the players to one area. So it kind of forced us to talk to each other because we don't really know each other and it can be kind of tough um to do it, but they kind of pushed us away from our parents and it kind of forced us to talk, and I think that helped a lot. Like by the second day we were a lot closer.
How did you guys kind of leave the visit? Obviously, I think you've gotten what, seven or eight guys from that visit that were uncommitted before the visit that have now jumped on board.
Yeah. So Friday was pretty uneventful, kind of awkward, and then by the end of Saturday, that's when everybody was having a really good time. And then Sunday was actually kind of weird because coach had like individual meetings with all the players, so we didn't really get to see each other that much, and we just ate breakfast and left when we wanted. But I think Saturday is the day that got all the commits probably.
Couple more questions directed towards your experience. What was it like for your parents?
They enjoyed it. They got to meet a lot of the parents of players, and um it's just they talk to Brian Ferentz a lot, and he's just such a funny, cool person to be around. So they enjoyed that. They didn't need to be sold on the program. They just wanted to like have a good time, pretty much.
Yeah, and probably just get a chance to know everybody a little better, right?
Yeah.
And then who was your host and how did you get along with him?
My host was Mike Mazlinski because he went to my high school.
Yeah, makes a
Um,
heck of a lot of sense.
so it was kind of funny because we'd hang out with our host, and he's friends with all the linemen. So I was just hanging out with offensive linemen the whole time, and they're just different. That's weird.
It's a double-edged sword, right? It's good to get to know those guys and be on their good side, and then it's, a little scary to get to know those guys sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah.
And for those that don't know, Bishop Kenny is the high school in Jacksonville that James attends and Mike uh, attended. Hopefully, Mike stays healthy this year. Could use him a healthy season out of Mike because he's got a heck of a lot of potential. Love to see him on the field. Uh, Before we go on here, I'm going to take a break here for a commercial. I want to let folks know that support for the podcast comes from Systems Unlimited, celebrating 50 years of providing services to people living with disabilities and mental health needs throughout East Central Iowa. A list of their services and upcoming events can be found at sui.org. That is sui.org. Thank you to Systems Unlimited for the support of the podcast and the great work that they're doing in our part of the state. We're going to hear from a few more of our sponsors now, and James and I will be back on the other side to talk some more. And we're back here on the Prospect Podcast at Hawk Fanatic, joined by James Resar, Bishop Kenny, quarterback, Jacksonville, Florida, verbally committed to Iowa, recently took his official visit here. Um, what so kind of what's the approach to your senior season, James? You've got your college decision made. I would think that it's nice to kind of just be able to put all your energy into this kind of last hurrah. I mean, these are the last time you get to suit up with these guys, right?
Yeah. The team is looking a lot better than like this is the best team I'll ever be on in high school. So uh, we're hoping to make a really long run, and I'm really not thinking about college right now. Like right now, I'm all in on my high school season and really want to enjoy it.
Do you guys have kind of a group text with the 24 Iowa class to kind of just keep in touch with each other and kind of keep tabs on how your seasons are going and just kind of continue that bonding process?
Um, we did, but we haven't really been very active on it lately. But I mean, I think everybody does a good job. Like I still text a couple of the guys every once in a while, just asking how they're doing and everything.
Um, what when you say your team, I it's hard for people sometimes to picture what football is like in Florida and Texas and California. Iowa's the wrestling state, so really good high school football, some really good football in this state. It's just it hits a little different, I think, in some of the states like Florida, Texas, California, Ohio. What's it like? What's it like competing Friday nights, Saturdays, whenever you guys play down there?
It's different. Like our big rival that we play and we beat them last year. Like they had I think 14 D1 players on their team.
Wow.
A couple Alabama offers. So it's um it's really fun and it gets you ready for the next level because you're already playing against people who are going to be playing on Saturdays too.
You're you've gotten a chance to kind of watch Iowa's offense for a while now and know what it's about. How do you picture yourself fitting into that, and what can you bring to that position?
Um so I actually had a like an offensive meeting and they taught me a concept at the official, just kind of show me how they go through their planning and everything. And it was really nice because it helps me show how like they have a plan. Like it's more complicated than my high school offense, but they also do such a good job of coaching it that it's actually more simple. And I'll go through that just like any other quarterback, but I feel like what I bring is once something doesn't work, that's when I can extend and make things happen that other people couldn't necessarily do.
I don't want to put you on the spot. Can you kind of explain, not maybe specifically the concept that you were shown, but what that means when you tell somebody it's a play concept? How would you describe that to somebody?
Um, Basically, they showed like it's just a play, and they show based on what way the defense moves, it changes the player that you look at during the middle of a play, pretty much.
And that's I think that's where some people look at Iowa's offense and say, "Oh, it's not very complicated. It's, there's a fullback, there's a there's a tailback, there's a couple receivers, couple tight ends, maybe depending on the alignment, and it's very vanilla." But I think in talking to guys throughout the years, there's the plays, the different uh, available the different availability to the quarterback is pretty intense, right? Pretty, I don't want to say complicated, but you have a lot of different things that you need to go through your head pretty quickly to be able to be successful in this thing.
Yeah, I think it doesn't look that complicated, but it does a really good job. Like, I think it's more complicated than most college offenses, and it does a really good job of if you can master it, getting you ready for the NFL. Like, because it is a pro style offense.
Did you get a chance to talk to any of the current quarterbacks? I know there were player panels, I think, or maybe there wasn't on this visit.
There was. I mean, I introduced myself to them, but it wasn't like I didn't really ask any deep questions to them.
Yeah, you got time before you'll arrive here, and I'm sure you'll be at. Will you come back in the fall for a visit if you can fit it in, or would that conflict with your season too much?
Yeah, I'm going to the Minnesota one because that's my high school team's bye week.
Gotcha. That works out well. Floyd of Rosedale, you'll enjoy that one. That gets pretty good in Kinnick Stadium for that one.
I've heard.
Um, hit you with a lot of football questions, James. Let's get to know you a little bit. You're obviously very much into your development in sports, in football and track. But you have to have some time where you step away and kind of are not training or competing. What are some of the things that you enjoy to do in your free time?
Um, Probably just hang out with friends and relax. Like, I'm always moving, so it's nice to just relax and hang out with friends.
What do you guys do to relax? You got swimming pool, ocean?
Sometimes we go to the pool, sometimes we go to the beach, or just like chill at a house and just talk, play video games, that kind of stuff.
Aha, there it is. What video games?
Um, so I don't really play video games very much. So they'll play Madden, and I'm not very good, but it's still fun.
Um, what this is kind of a dual question here. Favorite meal at home, favorite meal out?
Um, Probably my mom makes some good pulled pork, so pulled pork sandwiches,
Nice.
and then just probably like Subway, honestly, like just a regular sub. That's a good too.
That's you'll be able to find those here. You won't miss Subway because they'll be here as well. Are you a seafood guy living close to the water like that, or no?
No, not at all.
That's funny. I know I have friends from Florida, and there's some of them are like that too. Yeah, we live here and there's great seafood. I just don't like
Yeah, too expensive.
it. um, TV shows, movies, Netflix guy. What do you kind of do if you're looking for entertainment in that regard? Music.
Um, Honestly, I don't watch any TV really. Just football when it's on. Um, Music, probably country, and then when I'm working out, like rap, that kind of stuff. It depends on my mood. Yeah.
Gotcha. Um, You involved in any other activities in high school? Any clubs? Any interests? Things like that. What are you going to study when you get in college? What are kind of some of your interests in that regard academically?
No other clubs in high school, and I'm gonna do criminal justice because that's what my dad majored in. So just
What
be like,
what do you hope to do with that degree after your NFL career is over?
um, honestly, I don't really plan on doing much with it because the goal is to be a graduate assistant if football doesn't work out. But if coaching doesn't work out either, there's a lot of things that I can do with that degree.
What does your dad do?
He works for ICE in Brunswick, Georgia, and teaches police officers.
That's got to be interesting to have your father involved in something like that. What's that like?
It's interesting, but he can't really tell me anything. So like, I'll ask a question and he can't tell me. So yeah.
That is kind of cool. What's your mom do?
She just stays at home and drives my younger siblings around and everything.
How big's your family?
I've got three younger siblings, two boys, one girl.
Did you know that Michael Burt is the oldest of seven?
Yeah, I heard that's crazy.
I was talking to my wife about that this morning and asked if she would like to have seven children, and she said no. But I'm looking forward to meeting the Burks when they come to Iowa City. Sounds like a really good family. What your offense in high school? You said it's different than the Iowa offense. What kind of system do you guys run, and how do you think that will prepare you for the next level?
We run three receivers and one tight end, and we do a lot of RPO, which I really don't like very much. I kind of like dropping back because the RPO teams have figured out how to stop us, so they just force us to run the ball, which is kind of tough for me because I just have to hand it off when I want to do something, but I can't.
Yeah, I understand those things happen, and maybe they'll confuse the defense with some different looks this year. And you're obviously your skill set will help. What's the rest of the summer like for James Resar?
So every morning I have football from 8 to 11. Go home and lift, and then I have track from 4 to 7. So I'm pretty busy every day, and then fall camp starts July 30th.
What's the track training? Is that for just the indoor season or just to stay in shape? What do you do track wise this time of year?
There's summer outdoor meets, but
Okay.
I don't know if I'm gonna get. It's just getting me ready for football season too.
Are you entertaining the thought at all of trying to run track in college, or is football going to be too much?
I am thinking about it. I have to ask, because obviously football is number one. It would just be to like help with speed training. So I'd have to look into how the two go together.
Cool. All right, James. Well, I've exhausted my questions for you, and I'm sure you're happy to hear that. But I've really enjoyed having you on the podcast and getting to know you a little bit, and hopefully the Hawkeye fans do as well. We wish you nothing but the best of the luck for your senior season. And I always end with giving you guys a chance to talk to the Hawkeye fans and kind of let them know what's on your mind. It could be as simple as go Hawks.
I can't wait for the 4 years I spend in Iowa City.
Well said. And I know they can't wait to see you when you get to Iowa City. So, but let's not hurry that up. Enjoy your senior year. Have a great senior season. We'll be watching and look forward to seeing how you do.
Thank you.
Thank you to James Resar. Thank you, everybody out there, for listening to the Prospect Podcast. We'll be back soon with another Hawkeye recruit. And until then, be well.